This broadcast is streamed and produced by Midnight Sports and is not affiliated with any hockey organization, club, or team. Midnight Sports is comprised of hockey parents who stream games for friends and family who cannot attend the games in person. Today's broadcast features D-Biz on production and camera and CDS on commentary. We hope you enjoy it.
Hello and welcome on in to the Abe Stark Sports Center for Game 2 of our Saturday doubleheader. Here from the boardwalk, it's the Stars taking on Genesis in this EJEPL Diamond 1 Showdown. Thanks so much for joining us this morning. If you did, it was Big Pat Donaghy on the mic, and boy did he do a good job this morning calling that game. It was a heartbreaker for the Stars, who ended up losing 4-3 in overtime number 1 against the Genesis Hockey Club, but it was a heck of a game. We hope you didn't miss a moment of it. If you happen to, it's still up on the YouTube channel and it'll stay there pretty much in perpetuity, maybe until the heat death of the universe. We'll see on that. But Genesis comes into this afternoon's game with an 8-4 record on the year, having beaten the Stars this morning to add to their win streak of what looks to be 6 games now. They beat the Princeton Junior Tigers 5-3, looks like yesterday, and then beat the Colonials of New Jersey 5-3, same score, last Sunday. Wins over the Montclair Blues, the Richmond Generals, the Pennsylvania Huntsmen round out that win streak. For the Genesis Hockey Club, it's the Stars, who last weekend were down in Pennsylvania at the Silver Sticks International Tournament and went 0-2-1 at that tournament. But Stars play was competitive and strong, and so looking to carry that momentum into this afternoon's game against Genesis. Stick around, we've got 2:15 on the board. We'll be back after this look at the extended warm-up period here from the Abe Stark Sports Center in Brooklyn, New York. right, there goes the buzzer from Abe Stark for the warm-up period. We're going to get some pucks collected and get ready to roll here as we get 25 minutes on the board. If you're just tuning in for the first time this afternoon, didn't see any of the showcase in August or this morning's game, you may just be finding out that EJ games are two 25-minute periods. The teams do not switch sides. Apparently different in overtime, though, where the teams did, in fact, switch sides. In any event, for these two 25-minute periods, teams will stay on their own sides in terms of the direction in which they are attacking. So it'll be the Stars moving left to right on your television screen or radio dial if you're just listening into this one. Stars in their home white jerseys again this afternoon, taking on the Genesis Diamond One Hockey Club, who are in their road greens, and so shouldn't be too difficult telling these teams apart, as just a little bit of last-minute strategy going on at the Stars bench and the Genesis bench. You can see the scoreboard already shows 25 minutes to go here in the first half of this EJEPL Diamond One showcase. Stars are back in action tomorrow afternoon against the North Jersey Avalanche, but given rink restrictions, we're not going to be able to carry that one here on Midnight Sports. It's a road game, and certain of these road rinks have restrictions on broadcasting, and that is one of them. And so go ahead and give us a like, follow, or subscription right here on this YouTube channel. Costs you nothing. It helps us in terms of visibility. Or go ahead to @midnight_sports on Instagram. You won't miss a minute of Stars news and action. And we'll keep you all up to date on broadcast ability and times. All right, just getting set here for the first half of this afternoon's game from the boardwalk. We'll see who Coach O'Brien throws over the boards. Looks like it'll be Johnny Weiss between the pipes, taking over for Patrick Donaghy, who did a great job in this morning's game. This will be Russo, Bolognic. We're just waiting here as we get set. Looks like Bizarro on the far side, Kocher, and Viscoso perhaps. We'll see who's on the far side there for the defense. For the Stars, goaltenders being checked here. Scorekeeper ready, and we are off and running. Looks like O'Day as that fifth skater out there for the Stars, just to tie a bow on that message. Here comes Genesis, right through into the offensive zone, but that pass is picked off nicely by Anthony Russo. He works it over for 22 and O'Day. It's Genesis throwing one wide of the cage on what was initially a zone breakout for the Stars. Genesis takes over, top of the near circle, but Kocher's come back, able to stick check the puck away. Bouncing puck finds a Genesis stick, only momentarily, but then dumped in once more by the team in green. Thrown off the side of the cage by Genesis. Not a shot on goal. We still got goose eggs on the scoreboard for that. This will be Bolognic trying to get that puck to Russo and then up and out of the zone. Genesis had come right back in from the neutral zone, and they maintain possession. It's Genesis all the way across, far side of the ice. They come in tight, they shoot, and they score. Well, Genesis striking just 54 seconds into this game. They had some sustained pressure in the offensive zone. But as we often say up here in the broadcast booth, regardless of which team scores first, it's youth hockey. There is a lot of time left in this one. Turns out over 49 game minutes left to go. And so it's a goal by the visitors, but plenty of time for the home team to get right back in it. Ensuing faceoffs, gonna see Isakov at the dot. Nikolaitis to his right. Pinching in was Rosick down the left wing. Looks like Genesis may have iced this puck. They do, and so an offensive zone draw coming up for the Stars. Well, it was a quick goal. You know, they say as goalies, typically, you want to see a shot early on, and an easier one at that to get into the game. And so, not uncommon to see a goal in the early going, because it's hard to track the puck in the early going of games. There, Stars nearly were home. Instead, Genesis is going to come back the other way. It's a bit of a break, but it's defended very well by the Stars, and it's a nice save there by Weiss. And then Weiss quickly gets the glove up and makes a second save in succession. It's Genesis trying to pour it on here. Deflection carries that up into the netting. So Johnny Weiss right back on the horse there. Two very good saves in that sequence from Genesis. In the offensive zone, 23-34 left to go here in the first half. It's a defensive zone draw for the Stars. Well, same skaters in part will stay out there. And it was Gitman in the slot who was able to push that puck up and out of the zone. Genesis is going to have to reset at their own blue line. They'll go point to point there. Davios now on the forecheck, joined there and taking a hit were the Stars. Genesis gains the offensive zone all the way over to the near circle. Fired across. Weiss with a nice leg pad save as that puck took a deflection and came in on goal. Genesis holds the zone for now. It's Viscoso all the way across at the near half wall. Genesis throws it toward the slot, but the Stars will be there first. Ramos to pick up that puck. It's Ramos point to point for Viscoso right in front of his goaltender. And now Genesis able to take that puck over in the offensive end. It's Genesis trying to curl with it. It goes off a skate. Ramos back. Feathers it up to Davios, who this time is going to use the glass, and the Stars able to get that up and out. Official saying it took a deflection, so no icing coming here. It's a quick up by Genesis. It's going to miss all sticks, but got close enough to Steph Gorlov's stick there for icing to be waved. Russo all the way back. Stick lifts his man. Genesis comes away with it in the corner, and now firing on the puck was Druda. Genesis still on the puck now. They try to work it up to the top of the slot. They do. Shot comes in. Deflection saved once again by Weiss, and nicely. It's Genesis back on the puck near half wall and all the way up to the near point, curling to the slot. Genesis looking to throw one in, but it's Russo with a nice shot block, and he gets a cheer from his bench for the Troubles. Genesis now to the far point. Bizarro pushes his man wide. Genesis throws a tight angle shot. It was Weiss with a nice save on what was a bad angle shot, but sometimes those can come in off a goaltender, and so Johnny Weiss doing very well there to keep that puck out of trouble. It's the Stars chipping and chasing. Bizarro gives chase all the way to the end boards. As his stick comes out of his hands, he's going to be able to pick that stick right back up. Genesis trying to move the puck past Nikolaitis and Bizarro. They send it to the neutral zone where Gorlov works it over for Druda. Back to Gorlov. Little pitch and catch here from the Stars as Bizarro chips that off the advertising boards. Genesis will take over. It's Genesis gaining the line, trying to dump in, and giving chase now is Belonik. Belonik first to the puck. He racks it to the far side of the ice. He blows a tire there, and now it's Genesis trying to throw it up to the slot, but it was Bizarro who'd come all the way across to jam up any shot that was coming. Druda turns with his man. Tracking him all the way to the near corner now is the Stars defender. Shot comes in wide of the cage. Genesis gets it back. They throw it to the slot, shooting in over the net. Oh, it was a high danger chance there for Genesis, and then Weiss. The nice save, able to work it just over to Belonik. Chopped out of the air by Nikolaitis, who passes it to himself off the advertising boards, pulls it from out of his skates. He's got Rosick streaking in the slot. He finds him there, shot in just high of the cage. That puck bounced just a little bit on Rosick on the one-timer, and he couldn't keep the shot that was always rising down, as is often the case with a bouncing puck. Hard to control, but it's the Stars now trying to pour it back on. Nikolaitis slaps that one in, comes out from under the glove of the Genesis netminder. Rosick hits the side of the cage. Nikolaitis takes a high hit, and then it's covered up by the Genesis netminder. And so we'll get a stoppage in play here as the Genesis goalie throws the puck, and the Stars can make a line change. 20-24 left to go in the first half. This will be an offensive zone draw for the Stars. Stars just need one more skater out there as they wait, and it'll be Nikolaitis straight over the boards onto the ice. Izakov to take the drop. Kotcher behind him, flanked by O'Day. And it's going to be a foul drop, as the players did not appear to be ready for it. And so we'll do it all over again near circle. Izakov awaits. Nikolaitis to his right. Players backed out of the circle momentarily. Genesis will take over in the near corner. That puck's going to be racked all the way down. Should go for an icing off the faceoff. It does. O'Day got back just to make sure. And it'll be another faceoff. A near circle in the Stars' offensive zone with 20-14 left to go in the first half. This will be Nikolaitis waiting for it at the half wall. Izakov tried to get it across to him. Genesis throws that puck all the way out once more. And it'll be another icing, and we'll do it all over again. Here comes Genesis, back down in the other direction, off the faceoff. It's Genesis in what was a 2-on-3, but it was defended very well by Kocher, who was able to check the puck off a stick and pick it up in the corner. He sends it all the way up and out of the zone, and now the race is on. Here comes the Stars, but the Genesis goalie way out of the crease, and the follow-up bounce just a bit, and then the one-timer save. Oh, it was a 10-bell save. Nikolaitis was at the side of the cage, tried to put it in. Getting post to post was the Genesis netminder. Stars really pushing here, and that one's going to be frozen by the team in green with 19:31 left to go in the first period. Well, the Stars with a big push there, and we're nearly home, but it was a post-to-post save by the visitors that kept them from getting on the scoreboard. And it's Bergman winning that faceoff forward. Davios on the far side tries to track it down on the forecheck, but it's Genesis with the breakout. They come through the neutral zone all the way into the offensive zone. Comes the team from Pennsylvania. The Stars will send it right back in the other direction. It was Gitman nearly running through a man to get the puck. Genesis sends it right back into the neutral zone. A good back check by Davios frees up that puck at center ice. It pinballs around and rolls to Ramos. Ramos sends that on up through the neutral zone. It's touched by Genesis, so there's no icing coming. It's now Genesis back in their own zone, trying to find some time and space out there. It's the Stars all over him. Davios with a good long reach to jam up the zone breakout. Genesis has it back at the logo. This time they've gained the offensive zone. It's a 2-on-5 right now, as Genesis had made a partial change behind the plate. Genesis comes right back in the other direction, but it's going to be a slash here on Genesis as Viscoso had his stick taken out of his hands with an upward chop, and so 18:34 left to go here in the first half. It's the Stars down a goal, up a man for the next 2 minutes as Genesis goes to the box for slashing. Well, just a little delay here as the Stars try to use as much time as they can on the line change to give power play number 1 a breather, as some of the skaters were out there when the Genesis infraction occurred. This will be Nikolaitis at the dot. Rosick in the slot. Across from him is Bizarro. Tracks that puck down at the half wall. Tries to dump it in just a bit deeper, but it'll be Genesis coming away with it. They're one-on-one. Getting back now is Izakov. Shot comes in. Weiss able to make the save and cover up there with 18:20 left to go in the half. 1:46 left to go on the man advantage for the home team. Same 5 skaters. No, we'll have a switch here as Ramos out for O'Day on the power play unit. Puck's dropped, fired just wide of the cage. It'll be Izakov across, and he's going to cycle that just a bit deeper. Past Bizarro toward Ramos. All the way across is Rosick in full flight. He's got Nikolaitis ahead of him. Has a nice back check, take the puck off his stick, and the Stars get it back immediately. It's now Izakov all the way across for Ramos. Ramos on the puck. He's going to settle it down in the neutral zone, and a quick pass finds Nikolaitis, who sends it into the zone, and Nikolaitis gets it back at the near point. He's got 2 Genesis men draped on him, and Genesis will send that all the way into the Stars zone on the clearance, and they can make a change. It's the Stars on a quick up, but Genesis comes away with it. They're 1-on-2 as Genesis into the offensive zone. They shoot, blockered aside there by Weiss. 17:35 left to go. Onward we play. 60 seconds left to go on the man advantage here for the Stars. It'll be the Stars coming away with it, but only momentarily, as that puck fired in wide of the cage once more by Genesis. Genesis shorthanded, has been trying to keep that puck in the offensive zone, but it'll be Nikolaitis now in his own offensive zone, picking up the puck near the end boards. He gets pinned there momentarily until Bizarro's in for support. It's Bizarro delaying to allow the Stars to get 5 into the zone. All the way across it comes. The Stars trying to set something up net front. That puck hops over all sticks, and now Genesis able to spin it all the way down. Weiss out of his net to stop the puck there for Kotcher. Kotcher curls behind his own cage. He's got Viscoso up the right wing. He finds Bizarro up the left. 15 seconds left to go on the man advantage here, as it'll be Bizarro into the offensive end. Bizarro drop pass for Bolonic, hops off a stick, and it'll be Genesis in a 3-on-2 in the other direction. 5 seconds left to go here as Weiss is just going to field that can of corn from the dump in. And so with 16:35 left to go in the first half, 1 second left to go on the man advantage, we're almost back to 5-on-5 skating here. Defensive zone draw upcoming for the Stars. Now that puck's dropped, one by Genesis. Back to 5-on-5 hockey here as the hitting starts to pick up. Viscoso laid the hit and surveyed the consequences of his actions there in the defensive zone. It'll be Genesis trying to dump in once more. It's Viscoso back at the end boards, jamming up any pass toward the front, and Kotcher cleans up the rest. Works it over to Gitman at the near half wall. Gitman able to stop it there for Viscoso. Viscoso now in full stride, carries it into the neutral zone. Genesis will come right back in the other directions. Genesis, far circle. They shoot in. Weiss able to fight that off with the face mask. Follow-up shot, saved and stoned there by Weiss. 15:59 left to go in this first half. Genesis pushing to double their lead, and Johnny Weiss standing tall between the pipes. This will be Druda and Gorloff as the defenders. Bolonic, Russo, and Bizarro as the forwards to take this drop. Bolonic at the dot, trying to win this on his backhand. Back to Druda. He's able to tie up his man. Russo fires forward on it. Genesis comes away all the way in the slot. One-timer goes high of the cage. And it's now Genesis trying to reset. Russo dumps his man to the ice. Bolonic able to clear the zone. Comes up toward Bizarro. Bouncing puck. He leaves it for Russo. Russo into the offensive end. Tries to return the pass over to Bizarro. Takes a deflection off a skate. And Genesis coming right back in the other direction, but only so far as Bolonic, who taps it up to Bizarro once more. Bizarro into the offensive end. Curls toward the slot. Nearly finds Bolonic for a one-timer, but a good Genesis stick cuts out the threat. Now Genesis picking up and coming back into the offensive end. Harassed there by Gorloff. Weiss able to slow that puck down to the end boards. Druda racks it around to the near side. Puck comes up to the near point. Genesis with a slapper in. That shot was blocked and bouncing, but it was Weiss who once again stood tall and kept that puck out of the back of the cage. And so with 15:01 left to go here in the first half, it's a defensive zone draw for the Stars. Well, some end-to-end action in the early going here. Chances for both teams, just one goal separating them after 10 minutes of game action. Not unlike the first game, of course. It's Genesis firing in. Now behind the cage, throwing it in front. A diving Ramos kept that from hitting the low slot. Genesis working that puck down deep once more. Really trying to lean on the Stars in game 2 of this doubleheader and tire them out in the early going. Genesis now able to work that puck to the near half wall. All the way across it goes to the far point. Genesis can't keep the zone, and now it's Rosick all the way into the offensive end. It's a mini break, and it's saved by the Genesis netminder. That puck was on end. Stars have it back at the half wall. Nikolaitis works it all the way to the near side and then cycles it for Izakov, who goes down. Looked like he was stepping on the puck. Didn't call out for a tripping call there, and whenever you're curious as to whether a penalty should be called, you can always look at the players. It's a mini break there by Genesis, but it was Weiss who was able to shut the door. Genesis keeps the zone, stalking toward the slot they were, until Viscoso had cut out the threat once more. He throws it over to that far half wall, pins a man there. Stars trying to break out. It's still Genesis going around and then trying to go back to the near post, but it was cut out there by the Stars. Weiss getting the stick involved early helped out on that play, certainly. Ramos stands up a man, and now the Stars are going to fire this all the way down near a Genesis player. No icing to be called. Genesis bench doesn't love the non-icing call, but it's a quick up for Genesis, and it's going to function very similarly. Stars make a change of their own, and now it'll be Bergman on the puck in the neutral zone, gains the line, dumps in, and gives chase. Bergman trying to pick up that puck near the end boards. He's joined there by a teammate, but the Stars have to get back in a hurry as Genesis has left the zone. Fired in on Weiss. He steers that over to the far corner for Kotcher to pick up. Kocher on the puck. He can skate this up and out of the zone himself. He does. All the way across the neutral zone. He gains the line, dumps in, and gives chase. Kocher trying to throw that toward the slot as he had done 200 feet of work on his own. Rolling puck toward the slot. Slapper comes in. Look out. That's fumbled in front, but it turned into a nice save. O'Day pinches in to keep the zone, and the Stars will give chase. It's Genesis on the puck, working it up to the near point. Kocher's going to dump in once more. That puck hits a Genesis body and goes wide, so the Stars will have to reset all the way in the neutral zone. It's O'Day on up for Davios. Davios gains the line, dumps in. He can go for a change. It's a 5-skater change here for the Stars as Genesis with some time and space to break out. Genesis across the logo into the offensive end, still coming on the forehand. Weiss able to chop that out of the air, and the rest was cleaned up there by the Stars. It was Gorloff who had gotten all the way back, and the combination of Weiss and Gorloff able to keep that puck out of the net. Good work by both of the players wearing white jerseys out there. It's now Russo into the offensive zone. Genesis able to stop that puck in the slot and just send it right back in the other direction. So Gorloff gets on his horse, works it over to Druda. Druda on up, and that puck's chipped forward by the Stars, where Genesis will take over in their own end. Genesis up by the advertising boards. They spin in once more. Genesis with a dump and chase game thus far to try to tire out the Stars. Bolonic trying to work that puck up and out. Genesis still controls, but only so far as Bizarro, who is going to leave the zone with it. Long shot in by Bizarro, sticked aside by the Genesis netminder. Bolonic picks up, tries a tight angle shot. Genesis defender gets back and throws it to the end boards, picks it up and skates it up and out of the zone into the offensive end. It's Ramos settling that puck in the slot. Genesis has it back. They try to throw it toward the slot, but the back-checking Bizarro able to cut out the threat and now looks up ice. He sees Nicolaitis there, feathers a soft pass in, and the officials will say Nicolaitis was offside, delayed offside coming. He touches up. Onward we play. 11 minutes even left to go here in the first as Genesis comes toward the side of the cage. They'll blow a tire there, and so now it'll be the Stars tracking back in the other direction. Truly end-to-end action. Shocking in Game 2 of this doubleheader, considering these teams played all out in Game 1. But it'll be Genesis throwing that one all the way down, and a hit after the play. We'll see if anyone's going to the box or it just goes for an icing with the arm raised. Looks like no gesture toward the penalty box here, and so just an icing call on the ice. 10:39 left to go here in the first half. Offensive zone draw upcoming for the Stars. This will be Izikov at the dot. Nicolaitis to his right, and Davios to his left. O'Day and Kocher as the defenders. O'Day right at the top of the circle, try and fire this one in. He does, just wide of the cage. Kocher across to pick up that puck in the neutral zone. Kocher still on the puck. Shoulder dip, fakes out his man, and then he works it up toward the neutral zone where Nicolaitis able to work that puck just a little farther forward. Here comes Genesis right back in the other direction. Getting back is Kocher. Genesis in tight, and Weiss able to make a nice save as the Genesis man was running out of real estate, but was able to get the shot off from about 2 feet away. It's now Genesis setting up once more. They throw the puck all the way across top of the far circle. Shot comes in. Weiss redirects it aside. Now Genesis trying to set something up from deep. They're at the end boards with the puck. They throw it in front, shot in, and it was Nicolaitis getting all the way back to jam up the stick of his man, looking to put home a rebound. O'Day back for it, washes his man out of the play, maybe all the way to Middle Earth there, and it'll be Kocher coming right back with it, sending it to the near side of the ice. Genesis able to keep the zone. They dump in once more. This Genesis cycle play is strong, and it's strong again today. As an organization, they do that well, keeping the puck in the offensive zone. A quick up all the way across. Genesis can't quite corral it. They'll have to pick it up at the end boards as they're making their change. Up to the near circle. They try to fire it in. Fluttering puck comes to the slot. Shot just wide. And it'll be Gitman hounding his man over on the far side. Bouncing puck in the slot, lifted up. And now it'll be out by the Stars. It was Gorloff for Gitman. Gitman takes a hit to make a play as he gained the line and dumped in. Ended up taking a shoulder for his troubles, but he's right back on the forecheck out there with 8:57 left to go here in the first half. Quick up by Genesis, connects. Truder gets back to try and push his man wide. Tight angle shot. Weiss was able to shut down the angle as he was hugging that near post. Absolute textbook play by Johnny Weiss there to keep this a one-goal game. 8:40 left to go here in the first half as Bizarro tries to chop that out of the zone. He's going to get a second bite at the apple and works it on up. Gitman able to touch it farther, and the Stars can go for a change. Russo over the boards. Bergman harassing his man on the forecheck. Bizarro gets it back, tries to throw it down in tight to Bergman. Instead, it will be Genesis coming right back in the other direction. It's a drop pass that doesn't quite connect for Genesis as there was some good poke checking by the Stars. And with 8:18 left to go in the first, Genesis offside. Well, neutral zone draw coming up here just in front of the Stars bench as we're under 10 minutes left to play in this first half. Game 2 of this EJEPL Diamond 1 doubleheader. Can't thank you enough for joining us right here on Midnight Sports. Genesis trying to dangle, can't get around Ramos. Now they'll try the nearest side of the ice, will the visitors. They'll fire in, but it was Russo with the second shot block of the day, able to get that puck up and out. Genesis curls for the puck. They'll throw it on up through the neutral zone and tap it deep. This will be Belonik back for it in the far corner. Genesis and Ramos jousting there. Genesis works it up to that far point. They walk the blue line, try to set up a one-timer on this side, but we do have an injury on the ice. And so we'll get a stoppage in play here as the Genesis player able to skate off under his own power toward the bench. And we'll get a reset with 7:46 left to go in this first half. Well, this will be Izakov at the dot. Nikolaitis on the near side and Rosick on the far side. Worked back to Ramos is that face-off win, and then on up to Nikolaitis. It was a good spot there by Joseph Ramos. Found Nikolaitis on down to Rosick, who hits the side of the twine. Looked from this angle like it might be in, but instead it was the outside of the twine. Slapper comes in from Viscoso. That's going to hit the curved wall. Nearly go all the way around. Ramos had dumped in. Finds a Genesis stick. Genesis now back in the other direction with some speed. Genesis in the slot. Rister comes in. Weiss stands tall, able to throw the big glove on it. And then Viscoso had taken exception to the Genesis players slapping at Johnny Weiss's glove. And just a few hijinks there after the whistle, but it looks like no paperwork coming as the Stars try to keep their netminder clean. Well, so much for no paperwork. This is Viscoso going to the box. They're only going to take one on this, which is a call that the Stars players do not agree with. And so, penalty up on the board against the Stars. Down a goal, down a man for the next two on the call against Nico Viscoso for roughing. 7:16 remaining to go here in the first half. Penalty killers over the boards for the Stars. And just awaiting a chin strap being adjusted on the ice, and then we'll get rolling again here. Looks like we are, in fact, ready to roll. It's Izakov winning that back to the near corner. Genesis now controls at the near half wall. Genesis on the puck, trying to work that up to the blue line. They do. All the way across the puck goes. Genesis looking for cracks in this penalty-killing defense of the Stars. Top of the near circle. A lot of traffic in front. All the way across it goes. Shot goes high from the mid-slot. Genesis controls once more. Genesis in the near corner. 1:35 left to go on the man advantage. Genesis all the way to the top of the slot. Now the far point. Genesis just trying to move the Stars defenders a bit and suck them all the way up toward the blue line, but it's Johnny Weiss who saw that puck the whole way and was able to make the save. Puck eventually out of play into the Stars bench. And it's going to be a draw in the Genesis offensive zone with 6:36 left to go in the first. 1:20 left to go on the man advantage. This will be Bizarro out there to take the draw. He's joined by Ramos, Rosick, and Gorlov. That puck up at the top of the slot. Genesis controls now, top of the near circle, trying to go all the way across. It's Ramos who's able to get a stick in the way. He leaves it there for Rosick. It's Rosick in full stride all the way into the offensive end. He's beating a man there. Rosick in tight. Nearly tripped up looking for a trailer. And it was just the wrong side of the slot there for the Stars, who nearly were away shorthanded. Genesis will come back in the other direction. 50 seconds left to go on the man advantage as they'll try the far side of the ice. Stars get back in a hurry. Genesis dumps that puck into the far corner. Ramos watches his man there. Gets his stick in the passing lane. Genesis will try this near side, but the Stars able to clear it up to the blue line. No farther. Genesis fires in once more, and it's a big deflection in front. Weiss had no chance on that one. Genesis with a ton of bodies in front, able to find the back of the net with 5:49 left to go here in the first half. It's a power play goal for the visitors, and they've doubled their lead. Well, ensuing faceoff will be Bergman. Gitman. As two of the three forwards, O'Day, Kocher, are joined by Davios as the fifth skater out there for the Stars. Genesis controls at their blue line. They'll skate this up, gain the line, and dump in. Out of his net is Weiss. He's going to leave it there for Kocher. Stars will have to recoil here behind their own net. Genesis controls. They work it up to the far point. Genesis still on the puck, trying to dance in and get a shot off. Davios had blocked that shooting lane, and Genesis just resets, but this one's going to come all the way out. And so the visitors will have to control all the way back at their blue line. They can only get it so far as O'Day, who takes a hit there to make a play. And Genesis will pour in once more. Big hit there by Kocher at the blue line, trying to fire his team up. O'Day leans on a man, able to dispossess him, and now the Stars try to work that puck forward through Bergman. Genesis at the near half wall. They'll dump in once more. Genesis all the way near side of the ice. Weiss able to sweep that aside. Pass comes into the slot, but there were 5 Stars all around the cage, and so it'll be Bergman carrying it through the neutral zone into the offensive end. He gets upended there, but we'll get a call. Looks like it's going to be a tripping call against Genesis, who does not like that call because it came from the back official. There was an official right by the play who did not make the call, and the Genesis bench does not like the call because it was made from 100 feet away. But as we often say up here, there are only 2 opinions that matter, and those opinions are from the folks wearing stripes. And so, the back official saw a trip, he called a trip, and a trip it was. 4:44 left to go here in the first. Stars down 2, up a man for the next 2, unless something happens in the intervening time. It's Izikov settling for Bizarro. Bizarro dumps on down. Stars control in the near corner. They're looking to get that puck up to the blue line. They do. Back to Bizarro now. He'll curl in with it toward the slot. Bizarro shoots in. It was a no-look shot. He had some traffic in front through Nikolaitis, but it was gloved to the side by Genesis. Stars get buried a little bit in the corner as the puck gets caught under a body. We'll get a stoppage in play here, and a face-off upcoming because the puck was caught under Rosick's body. 4:18 left to go in this first half. 1:34 left to go on the man advantage for the team from Coney Island. Offensive zone draw upcoming. Well, they're going to move this out to the neutral zone now. Perhaps there was a hand pass as that puck was caught under Rosick, and so that puck's dropped, won by Genesis eventually, and dumped on down. As you may recall, no icing on the penalty kill. USA Hockey matching NHL rules on that issue newly this year for 18U hockey. It's now Rosick carrying that up for Nikolaitis. Nikolaitis back to Izikov. All the way across it comes. Bizarro chops it forward, then tries to keep the zone. Helping him out was O'Day. Back to Bizarro. Bizarro looking for a trailer. He finds him in Izikov, who has to settle that puck down, and on the backhand, dump in deep for Nikolaitis. He cycles it on over. He was looking for Rosick, but that puck's going to come up and out of the zone. Izikov to settle it once more. 52 seconds left to go on the man advantage. 3.5 left to go in the half. Bouncing puck back to Izikov at the logo. All the way across it comes. O'Day had screened for his fellow defensive pair, but here comes Genesis shorthanded in the slot. They're trying to go around and in deep, but it was Weiss with the big toe save. And so onward we go. Stars on the quick up to Nicolaitis. Nicolaitis chases down at the near side. Genesis tries the back check to wash him out of the play. It is thrown up and out of the zone for Viscoso to send up quickly to the Stars. Stars still off on a delayed offside here, but the puck came out of the zone, and so it'll be Genesis just dumping it forward once more with 10 seconds left to go on the man advantage. Out of his cage is Weiss, leaving for Viscoso. We're going to be back to 5-on-5 hockey here in 2 seconds with 2:44 left to go in the half. Russo takes over. Skates this to the far side of his zone, uses the boards to get that puck up and out and get the puck back. It's still Russo. What a play from Anthony Russo there to carry that deep into the offensive zone. Genesis finally does pick up. They'll come back in the other direction and curl into the offensive end. Some good back checking there by the Stars to cut out the threat. Genesis still controlling, though, far side of the ice until Nicolaitis has seen enough. He'll send that all the way down for an icing with 2:15 left to play in the first half. We'll get a stoppage in play and a defensive zone draw upcoming for the Stars. Well, this will be Belonik. Davios to his left, Russo to his right. Viscoso and Ramos as the defenders. Firing on that puck is Davios. He's got 2 Genesis men all around him. He lost a glove, but still able to get that puck up and out of the zone with some help from Russo. Now it's Genesis taking over once more in their own end. They'll skate this up and out. Genesis coming forward through the neutral zone into the offensive end, but they'll go offside with one extra deke across the blue line. And so with 1:52 left to go in the half, it's going to be a face-off in the neutral zone. This is Izakov at the dot. Pizarro and Nicolaitis flank him. O'Day and Kocher as the defenders. That puck won cleanly by Izakov. Back to O'Day, who finds Kocher. Kocher up the strong side. Nicolaitis will just chip that forward. And now the Stars give chase. Genesis on the puck at their own end boards. And they work that puck to the far side of the ice, up and out. This should go for an icing. And so we'll do it all over again in the offensive end for the Stars with 88 seconds left to play here in the first half. It's Genesis with a 2-goal lead. This is Izakov to take the drop. Far side of the ice. O'Day and Kocher behind him. Puck comes to O'Day, who fires in, but it hits a body, and now it's a 3-on-1 developing. All the way back is Kocher. Genesis tries to settle that puck. Genesis still on the puck. Can't pull the trigger at first, and O'Day had gotten all the way back to jam up any shot. There was never a shot by Genesis there. It's Pizarro back in the other direction. Tries to throw it on net. Instead leaves it for Izakov. And he takes a hit for his troubles, does Pizarro. But it looks like maybe the Genesis man got the worst of it. Genesis back in the other direction. Under a minute left to play. It's a 3-on-2. Sticks everywhere here. Weiss able to make a save there on a close-in, high-danger shot. And so now Genesis at the top of the near circle. They spin it down to the near half wall, right back up to the top of the slot. Shot not coming. Pizarro able to get in the way. And it's Nicolaitis over for Pizarro. Pizarro into the offensive end. Tries to delay there as Pizarro sees his stick thrown to the corner. And we'll see. The Genesis bench again does not like the call, as they wanted some sort of explanation. The Genesis coach gesturing that the Stars man may have hit high, but the officials saw interference on Genesis. And so with 34.9 left to go in this half, and so just a little fans in the arena getting involved in these calls being made now, spicing up the game just a little bit, as the Genesis fans asking what exactly the officials were looking at, and the Stars fans responding, hey, don't complain. Always one that will settle things down, of course. with 34.9 left to go in the half. Looks like 2 penalties called there on Genesis, so it's a 5-on-3 upcoming for the Stars, and there's no time like the present for the Stars to cut this lead in half. Now it'll be Nicolaitis sent out of the dot as Bizarro and his compatriot were encroaching on the circle. Bizarro able to win that face-off anyway, and now it's Viscoso settling the puck down. Viscoso works that puck on down, and the Stars will stalk in. 24 seconds left to go here as Viscoso winds up, shoots in. Deflection nearly carries that on net. Instead, it goes wide, and now Genesis able to clear. 15 seconds left to go. Stars might have one more rush out of this. It's Viscoso across for Kocher. Now on up goes the puck. The Stars control there. It's Bergman stalking into the offensive end. He takes a hit, and the Genesis fans cheer as the buzzer goes. To end the first half, still 1:25 left to go on the 5-on-3 as the players separate. We'll have an ice cut, and then we'll be back for 25 more minutes of EJEPL action right here from Abe Stark. This is Midnight Sports. When the cookies are all made and the baking's all done, it's time to sit on down on the couch. She's earned it. That's right. It's Midnight Sports. Your grandma loves to watch.
Weekends were spent watching movies you'd seen before and doing things like seeing friends and having a life of your own. Hockey practices, homework, and traffic were just hypotheticals and theoretical. Well, don't worry. You don't have to be miserable any longer. It's hockey season, so you don't have to worry about making plans or sleeping in. Instead, you can just focus on why the LIE is backed up at 8 in the morning, even though there's no accident or construction work. It's free time. Haven't you missed all of your scheduling decisions being made for you?
intensity can't forget. Midnight sports forever out there. Ever out there. Streets are empty, echoes howl. Daylight breaks in shattered ground. Engine roars like beast on fire, chasing dreams on broken wire. Pedal down, the rush is real. Heartbeat sync with spinning wheel. Lights flash by in blurry streak. Highway signs too fast to peak. Running on fumes, can't slow down. Foot to the floor through this town. Eyes on the prize, won't back out. Living life loud, no fear, no doubt. Hands grip tight the steering wheel. Stealing nerves against the field. Rolling hills and sharp descents. Never stop a soul hell-bent. Radio blares adrenaline. Fingers tap on skin and tin. Horizon looms but never near. Push the limits, lose the fear. Running on fumes, can't slow down. Foot to the floor through this town. Eyes on the prize, won't back out. Living life loud, no fear, no doubt. Running on fumes, can't slow down. Foot to the floor through this town. Eyes on the prize, won't back out. Living life loud, no fear, no doubt. Running on fumes, can't slow down. Foot to the floor through this town. Eyes on the prize, won't back out. Living life loud, no fear, no doubt.
Well, just getting set here for the second half. Ice cut done. Genesis out of the locker room. Stars being called to the ice as we get ready for another 25 minutes of EJEPL Diamond 1 action. Here from Abe Stark down on the boardwalk. It's the Stars down 2 goals but up 2 men for the next minute and 25 seconds. Just as soon as they make their way from the locker room to the ice. And so a golden opportunity with fresh ice, fresh skaters, and 85 seconds of 5-on-3 action for the Stars to cut this lead in half, or even better for the home team. Tie this one up. Buzzer's still going here to try and get the Stars to come on down the stairs and take the ice. Well, we can remind you, tomorrow we're going to have a blackout. Stars are at the North Jersey Avalanche. Pretty sure we cannot broadcast from that rink, and so we will not. But our Instagram channel and YouTube channel are the things to follow, like, and subscribe to stay up to date with all the New York Stars 18U 2025-2026 action. If we've got the coverage, you won't miss a moment if you go ahead and give us a like, follow, or subscription. Free to you, and it helps our visibility, certainly. So go ahead and mash that follow button, pretty please. Next weekend, Stars have 2 games right here at Abe Stark. So today was the first home game for the Stars. This morning was, and a whole spate of them coming up next weekend in action against the Jersey Wolves right here at Abe Stark, 12:15 p.m. And then against the Long Island Edge the next day in their first state qualifying game at 12 p.m. noon next Sunday right here on Midnight Sports. All right, 25 minutes put on the clock. Stars stretched out, warmed up. We're just about ready to get rolling for the exciting last chapter to this one from Abe Stark. Well, this morning's game was a barn burner, and certainly no different here this afternoon. 5-on-3 hockey upcoming. It's Genesis winning that puck and sending it deep into the offensive zone to be picked up there by O'Day. Ice just a bit wet. You've heard that before at other rinks. It is still September, and so onward the Stars go. Bergman carries it all the way into the offensive end, and still with possession, trying to hit a trailer there. It's going to miss all sticks and skates and leave the zone and sit all the way at the Stars' end wall where Kocher will retrieve. He leaves it there for Ramos. Ramos on the puck. He's going to skate it up the right wing, now across the logo, back up the right wing. Into the offensive end he comes. Easy zone entry when the other team only has 3 skaters out there. Ramos still on the puck, trying to settle it there. Leaves it for Kocher. All the way across it comes to Bizarro, who receives the pass at the near half wall, works it up to Ramos, and then it's jabbed down a bit more, but it'll be Genesis coming away with the puck. 30 seconds left to go on the 2-man advantage here for the Stars. They'll have to pick that puck up and go forward with it. They do exactly that. Bizarro on up. He was looking for Nicolaitis on the far side. Puck racked around. Bergman to pick up. Jabs it to Bizarro. Bizarro thinks about sending it across to Viscoso. Gets rubbed off the puck for a moment. 7 seconds left to go here for the Stars on the 2-man advantage. And they'll have to be careful as 2 Genesis players come out of the box. It's Kocher firing in. Puck still loose in front. And it's sticked aside by the Genesis goaltender. Genesis back on for the 5-on-5 hockey. That's happening right now. It's Bizarro to Bergman, it looked like, as that puck had popped all the way out to the slot. It'll be Genesis, though, in a 2-on-2 in the other direction. Genesis across, minded well by Viscoso. Genesis to pick up again in the near corner. Puck goes off the back iron of the back of the net. And so it's Genesis setting up once more. Far point to the near point and out of the zone. Genesis successfully killed that 5-on-3 that was split by halftime. And now they'll pour right back in the offensive end. They shoot it, shrugged off by Weiss. A nice save with the shoulder, and now the Stars try to get to work on getting this puck up and out of the zone. Russo bodies a man there, able to carry the puck across the blue line, chips it off the boards, and momentum carries it forward all the way to the neutral zone, where Genesis takes over once more. Firing on that puck now is Gorlov, back to pick it up at the end wall, working it over toward Russo. Russo controls the puck, works it back to Druda. Druda chips it off the glass. It goes off a Genesis man, back up to Russo, but still in the zone. Genesis fires in. Weiss comes across, and he's able to make a save to kick it on over to the near corner. It's now picked up by Gorlov, who works it on over toward Davios, just out of his reach. Gorlov gets it back in that far corner. Gorlov chips it to the near side. Stars trying to get this puck up and out. Genesis happy to just keep possession in the offensive end right now and try and tilt the ice a bit. Genesis on the puck at the near point. They'll fire in. Screen shot doesn't get through. Stars emerge with it on the stick of Bolonic. 21:55 left to go in the second half. Bolonic able to carry it into the offensive end. And Genesis takes over. That puck wasn't touched, and so it goes for an icing on the pass up by Genesis. And with 21:47 left to go here in the second half, it'll be an offensive zone draw for the Stars. Well, we can't thank you enough for joining us for this Midnight Sports doubleheader here from the Boardwalk today. It was the Stars' home opener this morning. And although they lost a heartbreaker in overtime, they did get a point from it in the EJ standings. And they're hoping to get right back in this one. Down 2 with plenty of the second half left to play. Zizikov curling, firing in. That one's gloved down and then thrown in front. Look out, O'Day fires that in. Blocked shot. Doesn't get through. Izikov has it back. Some good push here by the Stars. Cycle game by Izikov to O'Day. Over to Gitman now. Gitman side of the cage. Tries to send it back toward O'Day. Puck sits on the far side of the ice. O'Day looks to track it down. Instead, it will be Genesis coming back in the other direction. 2-on-2 for the visitors into the offensive zone. Genesis side of the cage. Oh boy. They were able to shoot and score there. Tight angle shot. Not even sure how that one got through. But it had to have been a seeing eye puck to make it into the back of the net. And so just like that, great push by the Stars, and Genesis comes right on down, able to find the back of the net on a pinpoint shot. So with 21-12 left to go in this second half, it's Genesis 3, Stars nothing. Shots in the rink 22-14 right now, which feels like a fair or relatively fair approximation. Obviously, everyone brings their own bias to it in terms of whether there's an undercount or an overcount on the shots, but if anything, Genesis has been pushing and pushing hard to get that third goal. And so there might be a chance that they have a few more than 22 shots, but you'd never hear it from me because we're not going to criticize volunteer scorekeepers at all up here in the booth. That's a hard job, and counting shots on goal is perhaps the least important part of it. In any event, this is Genesis back at their blue line, trying to throw that puck up through the neutral zone. It was picked off by Bolognic. Genesis resets, sends it into the offensive zone, but only so far as Ramos. Ramos over to Viscoso. Viscoso right back to Ramos. Ramos with some open ice in front of him. Works it over to the near side of the ice, but the Stars hadn't completed the change just yet. Fired in from the near point, and picking a corner there was Genesis. And they extend their lead here to 4 with 20-13 left to go in this second half. It's Genesis trying to pour it on in the early going of this final half. Well, ensuing faceoff sees Gitman at right wing. Looks like it might be Bergman out there at center. Indeed it is. Chips it forward, looking for Davios there. Genesis takes over. It's Gorloff and Druda as the defenders. This is going to be Genesis working it up to the neutral zone. They batted farther right at the logo. They carry it in, but this time offside with 20:01 left to go here in the second half. It's a neutral zone drop coming up. Well, this will be Bergman again at the dot, able to win it forward. Stars fire on it. Genesis first to it. They gain the line. This time they try to dump in. It hits a stick, and it's swept up by Davios out of the zone. Genesis pours right back, but it was Davios on a nice back check who had left it for Druda. Genesis tries to gain the zone once more. They do some heavy hitting there. They'll get a cheer from their bench and just a little bit of talking between Gitman and his compatriot, but onward we play. It's now Gorloff moving that puck on over, and the Stars get upended, but they move it up and out of the zone. Genesis pours right back in. Genesis still on the puck for a moment, and they come all the way across. They fired across. Weiss with a nice shoulder save. May have caught part of the blocker as well. Gorloff able to chip that puck off the glass. It rolls in front. Weiss first to it. Covers it up with 19-13. Left to go here in the second half. A defensive zone draw for the home team. Izikov, Rosic, Nikolaitis as the forwards. Looks like Kocher and O'Day as the defenders. It's going to be a near circle drop, and it's won cleanly there by Izikov. Back to Kocher. Kocher harassed by two Genesis men, but works it up to Nikolaitis. The breakout is on. Nikolaitis to Izikov. Izikov gains center ice, gains the offensive zone now, fires that on, swept aside by the Genesis netminder, and so it's going to be Genesis coming back the other way after they collect possession of the puck. Kocher right across the logo, and he'll dump in once more. Kocher gives chase. The defenseman in deep at the end boards, able to free it up for Nikolaitis, but only momentarily. That puck was bouncing, and Genesis able to corral and send it up and out of the zone. Now the puck runs off a stick. It's Genesis side of the net, one-handed swipe at it, and Weiss stood strong as the puck gets worked up to that far point. Fired in, takes a deflection, never reaches the goal mouth as Genesis has it once more. They'll dump in. Near side of the ice, Genesis trying to track past O'Day and Izikov. Couldn't do so, but they keep the zone. Genesis still on the puck. No look pass, doesn't connect there for the visitors as Izikov works that puck up and out through a teammate's stick. It was Rosic who was able to get that puck up and out. Kocher now leans in, but we're going to get a call here. And It's unclear what the gesture is, whether it's offside or not. So we'll see what the official says. Looks like it's going to be a roughing call. And it will be Izikov to the box for roughing with 18:02 left to go in the second. Stars down a man for the next 2 minutes. Looks like it might be Izikov serving the penalty. 30 is the number put up on the board. So we'll see if that was a call. The only way that would happen, of course, is if it were a call on Weiss. But no gesture made, just an explanation at the bench. And so we won't speculate up here. It's Izikov in the box for 2 minutes, 17:45. Left to go here in the second half. Weiss out of his cage to stop the puck for Ramos. Ramos uses the curved wall to send that up to the far point. Not out just yet. Genesis resets near point. All the way across. One-timer. Can't connect, and it'll be Ramos on the puck. Fires that up past the blue line, and Genesis will have to clear the offensive zone. 17:25 left to go here in the second half. Genesis resets back into the offensive end. Comes the team from Colmar, PA. Genesis all the way across, top of the slot. They fire in some traffic in front. It was Weiss who made the save and got across and made the second one with a little bit of help from his friends. It looks like Weiss took a puck there off the elbow. Fortunately, goaltenders have that big elbow pad, but he had made it across and was able to spike that puck on up into the netting. Now just testing his skate blade edge there, as it was a huge push that had carried him post to post to make the follow-up save. 17:10 left to go here in the second half. Weiss with a 10-bell save there to go post to post on the follow-up shot. It's now Genesis taking that puck with still 1:03 left to go on the man advantage. On the roughing call against the Stars. Genesis curls, far circle, soft shot in. And they were looking for a deflection, was the team in green. Didn't get it. Shot went wide. Genesis still far point. This one's going to be deflected up into the netting. And in fact, all the way into the banners on the near side of the ice. It'll be an offensive zone draw for Genesis. 16:50 left to go in this second half. 47 seconds left to go on the man advantage. Genesis with a clean face-off win back to the point. Now the far half wall. Top of that far circle, Genesis settles down, trying to pull the Stars out of shape here on the penalty kill. Stars doing a good job of staying home. It's now Genesis firing in. That shot goes high and wide of the cage. Genesis has it back near side of the ice, top of the slot now. Spinning the puck all the way through. Deflection carries that up and over the net. O'Day on the puck in that far corner. Genesis able to get it back at the near half wall, but only so far as O'Day. It was good work there by the Stars and Nikolaitis to separate their men from the puck. Genesis will track all the way back to their own end for it with just 5 seconds left to go on the man advantage. Just one last rush for Genesis up a skater to gain the zone, and now it's 5-on-5 hockey with 15:58 left to play in this game. Genesis works that through the neutral zone. They'll dump on in and make a partial change here. O'Day pushes his man all the way to the end board. Some heavy hitting there from the Stars. It was Rosick who had laid the shoulder, and now we'll get a stoppage in play as the Genesis man had leaned on him. And so let's see who the call is on here, if there's a call at all. Like an equipment explanation being given. And so with 15:45, still 5-on-5 hockey as the whistle went. Obviously the safety of the players is paramount, and it was a quick whistle by the officials to keep the players from playing without all the required equipment. It's now Genesis back at their own blue line, trying to work that puck up through the neutral zone. And we're going to have some hitting here as that puck had come across into the Genesis bench. And so should be an offensive zone draw for the Stars. It was a big Rosick hit. And now we're going to get a call. Looks like it might be against Rosick. Had a few words to say to the Genesis bench. It's going to be an unsportsmanlike call, looks like, and a face-off all the way back in the Stars zone. So it's 5-on-4 hockey after all of that. It's a whole lot of words to explain that it's a 5-on-4 power play here. And so the penalty killers over the boards for the Stars. 15:35 remain to go in this game. 2 minutes on the board for the Stars penalty. And the Stars down 4, looking to gain some momentum from a penalty kill and open up the scoring of their own account. And it's a puck that's fired right into the Stars bench on the zone clearance. So we'll do it all over again from the near circle in the Stars zone. 15:30 left to play. Well, this is Bolognic at the dot. Able to stick lift his man, but Genesis controls near point over to the top of the far circle. They're trying to set up a wrister or perhaps a one-timer, but instead it's pitch and catch right now for the visitors. Genesis all the way down to the bottom of the far circle. They'll stalk on up to the top of the zone. Across the puck comes. Genesis now just trying to set up a one-timer in the slot. Weiss able to chop that out of the air once Genesis had gotten in tight. It's the Stars firing that one all the way down. It was Bolognic who was able to gain the zone clearance. And Genesis will reset with 1:20 left to go in this 5-on-4. 14:51 left to go in the half. Stars able to stop a man from entering. It was Nico Viscoso who upended the Genesis man who had broken into the offensive end. And Genesis has to reset in their own end. Genesis on the puck through the center of the ice into the offensive zone, making a line change while they do it. Genesis back on the puck. They spin it in front. It's going to come all the way out, though. And they'll reset once more. Genesis will go to complete the change as the puck is in their own end, but with possession for the team in green. All the way through the neutral zone comes Genesis into the offensive end. They hit a trailer there. They fire in. That shot goes just high of the cage, as Weiss had the net covered all the way up to the crossbar and more. It's the Stars trying to work that puck up and out. It'll be Ramos who's able to flick that puck up to Bolognic, who dumps it in deep. Stars now can make a 4-man change. 15 seconds left to go on the man advantage here for Genesis. 13:45 left to go in this game. Genesis working the puck up through neutral ice all the way into the offensive end. Getting back there was Kocher to cut out the threat. Now Genesis just dumps on in. Kocher will be first to it in the near corner. That puck's worked up and out by the Stars. Firing on it is Bergman. Nearly touched it past a man, but it was a good defensive play by Genesis. Heavy hit there by Kocher into the Stars bench. And now it will be the Stars in the near corner. O'Day gets pinned there against the glass. He's got 2 Genesis men on him. In for support is Russo. Players trying to dig that puck out from the corner. They do. This one's going to be fired all the way down. It'll go for an icing. And so nearly halfway through this second half, 13:04 left to play. It's a defensive zone draw coming up for the Stars. Nikolaitis, Davios, Zizikov, O'Day, and Kocher as the 5 skaters to Weiss's right to take this draw. Now it looks like O'Day may come off the ice here. No, he's going to stay on. And so we'll get a puck drop right now. It's Genesis in the slot trying to fire that in. Good stick lift by Kocher. Prevented the shot from getting too dangerous. This one's going to go all the way down for an icing once again as the Stars happy to clear the zone and hope for a deflection on that clearance. Same 5 skaters will stay out there for the home team. Well, folks, a reminder, next weekend, games at 12:15 on Saturday, 12 p.m. even on Sunday, both right here at Abe Stark. If you can't make it down to the barn, feel free to catch all the action right here on Midnight Sports. This is the Stars trying to clear the zone as that puck sits top of the circle, and now dropping on down for it is Genesis behind the cage. O'Day to pick up. O'Day will turn with it behind his own net. Still Alec O'Day now skating this up and out the right wing. Able to feather a backhanded pass up toward Davios. Genesis collapsed on the puck there. Davios gets it back and gained the line, dumps on in. Good work there by the old number 90. And Genesis resets in their own end. The breakout connects. It's a 2-on-2, perhaps a 2-on-3 developing. Shot comes in high of the cage. And now it's Nicolaitis trying to shovel it farther. Druta for support. Genesis able to carry it into the near corner. Genesis still on the puck. They'll spin with it. Cycle game from Genesis. Cracking right now. It's Genesis on the puck. They work it up to the far point. Fire on in. That puck doesn't get toward the goal mouth. As a body in front, sent it wide. O'Day now on the backhand. He's got 3 green skaters around him, but he's able to reverse and work that puck all the way over to the far side of the ice. Bouncing puck doesn't leave the zone, so it'll be Druta to pick up behind his own cage. Works it over for O'Day as Genesis will take over once more. It's Genesis on the puck. They've made a change. They'll fire in, and it was deflected on net, and a nice save by Weiss keeps it out. It's now Druta, joined by Izikov. Nicolaitis awaits for that puck to pop free. Genesis comes away with it all the way up to the mid-slot. Genesis tries to fire in. It was a long reach by Davios that gummed up the shot. Ensuing shot ends up wide, and the Stars need to get this puck up and out. They do. Nicolaitis up to Izikov. Izikov able to skate it across the logo, gains the line, dumps in, takes a hit well after the play, but he keeps his skates. Genesis now out there looking for their pound of flesh as well. It's Genesis working that up to the neutral zone, but without possession. Gorloff across for Druta. Gorloff calls for the puck back, gets the bounce pass from Druta. On up that puck goes, up and out of the zone. Russo nearly picked that off in the neutral zone. Instead, Genesis is going to punch it on in, and Gorloff goes back for it. It's Gorloff on the puck, pinned against the end boards, gets help from Druta. 2 Genesis skaters surround. Puck just pinned against the yellow there. It eventually squirts free, and it's Gitman coming back for it. And he's able to flick that puck up to the top of the zone. Not out just yet. Genesis pours right back in. All the way to the far corner it goes. Genesis trying to work around Gorloff, unable to do so. And it's Steph Gorloff working that puck up to the blue line. And then it was Gitman who used momentum to carry it farther. Dump in doesn't connect there for Genesis. Gorloff over for Druta. Druta on up to Bolognic. Stars making a partial change here as they've gained the line. Try and dump in, but it's Genesis gumming up the dump in. Genesis now tries to go around Viscoso. First to it, though, is Bolognic as Viscoso had slowed his man down. Look out, Genesis on the puck. They fire in. Gorloff gets a shoulder in front of it, and Weiss able to glove that down to the ice and spread the love over to Bergman. Bergman now all the way through the neutral zone. He's 1-on-2 into the offensive zone, but he runs into the linesman and can't carry it any farther. Genesis back in the other direction. That pass was picked off by Kocher, and it was a good thing it was, because otherwise it would have been home free for Genesis. Nicolaitis touches that farther and then leaves for Bolognic. Bolognic on the backhand, all the way across for Ramos, who had joined the rush. And it'll be the Stars trying to collect a bouncing puck in the slot, unable to do so as Kocher retrieves in the neutral zone. Kocher back on the puck, on the forehand, side of the cage, looking for a trailer in front, finds him, and he shoots and scores! Now that is Riley Bergman in the low slot as the Stars able to put one past with 9 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in this game. The lead has been cut to 3. Now Bergman able to clean that up in the low slot and put one low on the ice past the Genesis netminder. And so we've got ourselves a hockey game here. Ensuing faceoff sees Russo at the dot. One forward but without possession. It's Bergman and Bizarro firing forward on the forecheck. Russo to pick up this puck in the neutral zone. He gains the line, dumps on in. Genesis will have to chase, but Russo is right there chasing, joined by Bizarro. Bouncing puck corralled by Russo and then cycled toward Bizarro. Puck still bounced between a couple of skates there. Genesis comes away with it. They'll come back in the other direction. The other direction, that is, will the visitors, as it'll be Kocher trying to come away with that puck at the end boards. He's able to shield it with his body and stick for a moment. Works it up to Bizarro. Fluttering puck up to Genesis. They fire in, and that's kicked aside by Weiss. Ensuing shot, Weiss gets a glove on it. Oh boy, that was against the grain there, that save, as Weiss had done very well to keep the glove up as he was going post to post. And with that shot coming back across his body, He had the glove in the perfect position to knock that out of the air and keep this a 3-goal hockey game with 8:19 left to play. This will be Izakov at the far dot. Genesis comes away with it to the near point. Genesis fires in, looking for a rebound. Weiss able to stick that up into near glass. Follow-up pass comes through the slot, misses all sticks. Gitman all over his man right in front of the advertising boards as the Stars in for support. The home team comes away with it. It's Izakov working that on up for Gorloff. Taking a hit to work it deeper was Nikolaitis. Genesis tries the far side of the ice. Izakov on a man there in the neutral zone, able to separate him from the puck, and now it was O'Day up for Gitman. Gitman loses a stick, but leaves for Nikolaitis. The Stars offside. Ooh, that's a tight call. But they don't send close offsides to Toronto. And on the replay, we'll see if Gitman had gotten back across. Doesn't look like he did. It was a tight call, but the right call. And so we'll have a neutral zone drop upcoming here with 7:42 remaining to play. Izakov, clean win to O'Day, over to Kotcher. Kotcher on up for Russo. Russo looks to tap farther. Genesis in the way. Kotcher able to work that deeper into the zone. Genesis just touches it to a defender, does the netminder, and it'll be a breakout for the team in green. Genesis all the way across into the offensive zone. They kick it farther there. Weiss able to stick it aside, and now the Stars try to get the puck up and out of the zone. Genesis back on the puck. This time they'll dump on into that far half wall. They dance around a hit. Does Genesis side of the cage. The wraparound can't connect as the puck rolls off a stick. Now the Stars throw it up and out of the zone. Shots 33-19 on the board right now. 7 minutes even remaining. O'Day tracks back for the puck in his own end. Far corner of the ice. O'Day on the puck there. Works that up toward Bologna, who's able to shovel it up and out of the zone. Now Davios takes a huge hit on that far side, but we're going to get a call as the puck looks like it went up and out of play, as Davios was able to get in the way of any Genesis dump in. So with 6:45 remaining to go in this second half, it'll be a center ice faceoff as the Stars need some goals and need them in a hurry. This will be Bolognic at the dot. Genesis on the puck at their own blue line, trying to work that across the logo, and they're able to dump on in. Out of his cage is Weiss. He's able to stop the puck there for Ramos. Ramos chips that puck off the glass for Bergman. Bergman now on the puck, sends it to the far side of the ice. It'll be Davios to track on down. Davios skates that up and out. He's able to gain the line, dump in, and give chase. Comes to the side of the cage. Bergman was hoping to tap it home, but it was a good stick by the Genesis goaltender to keep that puck from popping out front. It's now Genesis into the offensive end, looking for a trailer. They find him in the slot. Look out, all alone in the slot. Shot goes wide. Follow-up shot. Weiss gets all the way back and gloves it down. It's now the Stars dumping all the way down the ice. This will go for an icing with under 6 minutes left to play. And so both teams will be able to get a line change out of this and an offensive zone draw for Genesis. Now puck's dropped. Stars win that forward, not out of the zone though. It was a good keep by Genesis, and they'll dump in from the near point. Now the Stars trying to work it up near side of the ice. Bizarro and Izakov trying to combine to work that puck up and out. Druda now in for support at the near half wall. There's some big hitting there on the side of the ice. Nothing called just yet. Genesis side of the cage. They feather it all the way across as Nikolaitis loses a stick, but onward we play. Looked incidental from all players, and so the Stars able to move that up and out of the zone. Nikolaitis picks it up, gains the line, dumps in off the boards. Genesis will give chase. Genesis on the puck at their own end wall. 5:20 left to go here as they'll tap it farther. Will Genesis, it's a 2-on-1 developing here for Genesis. They throw it toward the slot. It goes off a skate. It was good defensive work by the Stars, and Genesis will have to track back to the neutral zone for the puck. It's Genesis still on the puck in their own end. Puck's worked up, and the Stars trying to come across for it. Genesis couldn't keep it quite in the zone. 4:53 left to go in this one. And it'll be a neutral zone drop. It's Bergman, Davios, Russo, Kocher, and O'Day as the 5 skaters on the ice. Bergman at the dot, tries to take that forward through the neutral zone. It's Davios who collects back to O'Day, and it's feathered on up toward Bergman, who finds Russo up the right wing. Russo into the offensive end. He takes a hit on the near side of the ice. He pops right back up. It's a huge hit on the near side of the ice. And so we're going to get a stoppage here as the Stars will go to the box, and a Genesis player is down. We're going to pause. Well, as we said earlier, obviously the health and safety of the players on the ice is paramount here. And so, just take a moment and wish the player on the ice all the best from up here in the broadcast booth. And it looks like Bergman's going to be sent to the locker room here after the hit. And a round of applause here for the Genesis player, who is back up on his skates and is skating off with a little bit of assistance. And so we'll hope to see him back out there. Not because it's all that important to get back out on the ice in a 4-1 hockey game with 4.5 minutes left, but it would be an indication that he's back to full health or thereabouts, and that's what you want to see at a hockey game. Well, just a delay here as the paperwork gets sorted with 4:35 left to play in this second half. It goes down as a major, and so a 5-minute penalty put up on the board, which if in some way, shape, or form the Stars were able to come back and tie this one up, that major would carry on over into overtime. And of course, as you know, a major penalty can't be washed by the power play team scoring a goal. That and the time is what makes it a major versus a minor penalty. And so the Stars, with a mountain to climb right now, late on in this EJEPL showdown. It's Genesis. Clean win on the faceoff. They work it to the near half wall. 4.5 minutes left to play from Abe Stark. Genesis on the puck, near corner, and they try to throw it out front. Nicolaitis able to get a stick in the way. Genesis keeps the zone. It's a spinning pass from the Genesis Hockey Club that sees that puck end up at the near point. They try to stalk in all the way across the blue line. They walk to the far side. Genesis on the puck once more at the top of the slot. Now the near side once more. Trying to pull the Stars out of position are the visitors. They'll fire in, looking for a deflection. They get it, and it's Weiss able to make the double save in tight. The first one came up on him. The puck ended up sitting in front of him, and it was shoveled right back on net. And Weiss stands tall to make the save. 3:56 left to go here in the second half. It'll be a 5-on-4 all the way home, unless there's some scoring or paperwork, scoring by the Stars or paperwork by either team to change things. It's now Genesis all the way on the far side of the ice. They settle the puck down at the blue line, fired across to the near side. That was a one-timed pass by Genesis. The Stars just cleared the zone with 3:37 left to go here in the second half. It'll be Genesis pulling that puck off the end boards. Genesis still on the puck, skating up and out of their zone into the offensive end. Genesis carries it there on the forehand, tight angle. They'll carry it all the way around the net, use the boards to send it to the far side of the ice. Pizarro there, though. Nice soft dump all the way down the ice. And Genesis is not going to go for the quick up here. They're happy to see out the rest of this game. in possession of the puck, even if it's not in the back of the Stars' net. It's now Russo on the puck, chips it over to Gorloff. Gorloff able to work it up to the point, but not out, as Genesis fires that across the ice. It's a one-touch pass to the near side. Genesis just settles it and sends it up to the blue line. 2:52 left to go in this game. Genesis still on the puck. They send it all the way across, and now to the top of the slot. Mid-slot, fired in, wide of the cage. There was a lot of traffic in front, but Weiss's good positioning had the shooter send that wide. It's now Genesis just dumping in once more. They'll pick up the puck in that far corner, turning with it on the forehand. Drop pass connects, top of the far circle. Genesis feathers it up to the top of the slot, and now in tight is Genesis. Backhander kicked away by Weiss, who gets a cheer from the bench. All the way across comes Genesis. Far circle, it's shut down there by Weiss, who's able to freeze it, and Genesis cleared out of the crease there by the Stars, and so 2:13 left to go after the Weiss save. And the Stars still trying to climb out of a 3-goal deficit right now. Not much time to do it. It'll be Izikov, Nikolaitis, Kocher, and Druda out there on the penalty kill. This is now Genesis controlling the puck, top of the slot, all the way to the far side. Surveying their options, working the puck to the top of zone once more. That one's fired in off a stick into the netting, and we get another stoppage in play with 2:01 remaining to go in this game. Stars looking to win this faceoff on the backhand. It's chipped up, it sits there, and then it's flicked up and out of the zone. It was a good faceoff win in the end by Izikov, who gives chase on that puck at the end boards. Able to jam up Genesis on the zone breakout. An aggressive kill there from Izikov to try to keep Genesis pinned in its own zone. About 100 seconds left to play here as Kocher bodies a man and leaves the puck for Nikolaitis. Nikolaitis skates it farther into the offensive end. It's Genesis corralling in their own end. Nikolaitis able to bump a man off the puck and get his stick out of the grasp of Genesis. No look shot, goes just wide. Izikov back on the puck, he'll dump on in. It's a hit on Izikov there on the far side of the ice, but he's going to get it back. Send it over to Nikolaitis for the one-timer that doesn't quite connect. And now it's a high hit on Nikolaitis. And it'll be Genesis going to the box. We'll see exactly what the call is. Nikolaitis had come across the slot, and he took a hit there, as he did. And Genesis right to the box. So it's going to be 4-on-4 hockey for the last minute and 14 seconds of this game. You'll see it on the replay here. Watch this right side of your screen and then the center as Nikolaitis receives the pass, comes across, and he takes a hit up high. Well, just a minor penalty on that. Could have been called a major, but instead goes for 2 minutes. And in fact, the officials just trying to keep control of this game. Had they called a major, there would have been some complaining, certainly from the Genesis side, as the hit was not as severe as the earlier hit that sent Bergman to the locker room. 4-on-4 hockey. Pizarro out, hits the side of the net, and Genesis to control. 51 seconds left to go here as Genesis breaks out from their own end toward the offensive end. In the mid-slot, they'll fire in. Weiss able to gobble that one up. 45.1 left to play from Abe Stark. A reminder, Stars are in action tomorrow, but Midnight Sports is not due to rink restrictions over in Hoboken, New Jersey. But we'll see you again next weekend, 12:15 on Saturday, 12 o'clock on Sunday, both right here from Abe Stark. If you can't make it on down to the rink, make sure to tune on in to Midnight Sports. Shot comes just wide from Genesis. 32 seconds left to play. 4-on-4 hockey all the way till the end, unless there's another penalty put on the board here. It's Genesis working that puck down low, trying to send something toward the slot. Chasing it down will be the Genesis defenseman in the neutral zone. 17 seconds left to play in this one. Genesis able to go all the way behind the net and just settle the puck on that far side of the ice. And that's going to do it here from Abe Stark once 3 more seconds tick off. And so there's the buzzer. We've gone final. It's the Genesis Hockey Club 4, the New York Stars 1. Thanks so much for tuning in to Midnight Sports. We'll see you again next weekend. Until then, stay safe.